Q Crew, what's going on? You guys are tuned into another Q Pill reaction, and in this dose right here, cuckoldry. As a father finds out that after 11 years of fathering his son isn't actually his son, and the mother knew about it all along. But before we react to it, y'all already know the drill. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, share my content with your family, friends, and colleagues, and your peers so that they can get a dose of the Q Pill as well. If you would like to schedule a one-on-one consultation, purchase my book, or merch, all those links are below in the description box. Without further ado, let's get a dose of this shit. One of the most brutal elements of female nature is the fact that not only will they conceive a child while they're with you, but they'll allow you to believe that child is yours and allow you to invest resources in that child because you think that child is yours, and they'll act like they're unaware that the child isn't yours because they're on the beneficial side of it. They're the beneficiaries. And this has been a long-standing thing throughout human history, throughout evolution. Women will engage in coitus with another man while they're with you, while they're ovulating, get pregnant, and presume to pretend as if that child is yours. Now, paternity uncertainty is a thing. Men have no ideal markers outside of DNA tests that they can look at and know that a child is theirs. So what do? We take a woman's word at face value. And this is why DNA tests should be mandatory, if you ask me, to avoid incidents like this. Let's take a look at the video, because I want you guys to see and understand that when this happens, and any man who's been through this, I haven't, fortunately, but any man who's been through this or has experienced this or, has dealt with this to some degree where they thought a child was theirs and the child actually wasn't, and you loved that child, you took care of that child, you fed that child, you clothed that child, you thought you and his mother were a family, only to find out that that child wasn't actually yours. I can't imagine the degree of heartbreak that you experience, the degree of betrayal that you experience. So I want you guys to take a look at it, because I gotta say, his response was warranted. Let's check out his response.
What's up is why you've been lying to me for 11 years, telling me that DJ is my real son. Why you been lying to me?
What have I been lying about?
I got a DNA test done.
A DNA saying what?
Saying that he's not my son.
Okay, hold up. Let me stop it right there. You've been lying. What have I been lying about? Here we go with the gaslighting. Here we go with the gaslighting. Now she's unaware that the child isn't his. She's pretending like she has no idea what he's talking about. And I hate when women pretend that they're stupid. I hate when they play stupid as a means of trying to manipulate you, trying to make you think you're crazy, gaslighting you into essentially believing that whatever evidence you have is not sufficient enough evidence for the reality that you're now exposed to.
Let me see this DNA test.
You don't need to see it. I saw it.
How DNA test gonna say?
How you gonna be lying to me for 11 years? Why would you do that to me?
How is a DNA test going to tell you that your son is not yours? Ma'am, it's called genetics. What it does is it compares our genetic composition, our DNA, and see if there's a 99.9% match. That's what it does, man. This is why I say, when it comes to science, I hate talking to women, because women act like there's no such thing as science. Women disregard science when it doesn't benefit them, because they'll believe science when it benefits them, but when it's in contradiction with what they believe and it starts to stir up that cognitive dissonance, oh, now it's invalid, it's unreliable, it's lying, that can't be true. That's not the case. Did she really just say that? How a DNA test going to tell you that your son is not yours? That's what it's for, man. That's what it's for. It matches our DNA sequence and see if there's a match. See if we're composed of the same genetic combinations. And it's much more valid than what you feel or how you try to rationalize the boy being my son when biologically he isn't.
Where's the lie?
The lie is you. You are the lie. You have been lying to me for 11 years, having me believe that my son that I've been raising for 11 years is not really my son. Like, how could you do that to me? Like, what can you say for yourself right now?
What made you get a DNA test?
Because I went...
Deflection. What made you get a DNA test? Bitch, it don't matter. It don't matter. Why are you worried about what made me get a DNA test? Why have you been carrying on this lie? It don't matter how I got the DNA test, why I got the DNA test. It only matters that the DNA test states that this is not mine. The boy is not mine. I've been feeding, clothing, taking care of another man's seed unknowingly. That's betrayal, ma'am. That's lying, ma'am. That's manipulation, ma'am. And to pretend as if you are unaware of that, that's gaslighting, ma'am.
To your phone.
And why?
Talking about me, laughing and bragging, telling your friends that I have no idea that he's really not my son. So I went and got a DNA test done. Like, you think I'm stupid or something?
You guys hear it right there. So he said he went through her phone and seen her texting her friends, laughing and bragging about how he believes that that's his son when in actuality it isn't. And this goes to show women know exactly what they're doing. She knew all along that this wasn't his son. And of course she knew, because she knew who she was fucking around ovulation. She knew who she was allowing to penetrate her without protection and inseminate her around ovulation. Women are not dumb. They like to pretend that they are when they get caught. They like to pretend that they have no idea how you came to the conclusion that you came to about whatever it is that you're getting in their ass about. They love to play stupid when all along they be knowing exactly what they're doing. There's only a 20% chance of conceiving a child per month. And technically a woman has to have unprotected sex, around 3 to 5 days before ovulation to give her the best chance at conceiving. So she knows damn well what man she was screwing during that time frame that resulted in that pregnancy. But my guess is this guy had better resources. This guy had the more optimal environment. As we're going to see, they're staying in his house. So apparently he's the one with his shit together, and I'm almost willing to guarantee that she had a baby by a guy who doesn't have his shit together. She had a baby by a guy with a record. She had a baby by a guy who would put his hands on her. She had a baby by a guy who's just simply not a good dude, who's not a quality dude to actually start a family with. And for him to be sitting here having this conversation with her, well, it almost lets me know that he's one of these nice guys. He's one of these guys who has so much faith. But for me to sit here and assess the way that she's talking to him, I would say that the dynamic of their relationship is he tries to be the good guy. He tries to do everything that he can to be a good father and a good provider for his quote-unquote son and this woman, and she takes advantage of it. She takes him for granted. She takes it for granted. That's why she's talking this way. She sounds very entitled. She sounds very masculine. She sounds very stubborn. She sounds very combative. She just does not sound like a optimal, suitable, long-term partner. So I don't even know why he's with this woman, and I'm willing to bet that the reason that he's with this woman is because of the son. Because he thought the son was his. Because if they're cohabitating and if they're not married, then that incentivizes him to stay, especially if he's the guy that I said who's trying to do the good thing, who's trying to do the right thing, the most effective thing for his son and his son's mother. I'm almost willing to bet that this is exactly what the situation at hand is.
Like, how could you do this to me? What's up? You care more about me going through your phone than you lying to me about my son not being mine? Are you kidding me right now? Are you kidding me right now? You care more about being humiliated and me finding out.
I'm just trying to figure out where's the lie. Oh, he He got a bad one. He got a bad one. He got a bad one. But you know what? Thank God it isn't his son, because now he's not tied to a woman this mean, this demonic, this difficult. Y'all do realize that. That's the blessing in this. Now he's not tied to a woman that he felt he needed to be tied to, because there's no way in the world that he opted to be with this woman and he would still be with this woman had he not thought that she was pregnant with his child. Y'all can't convince me that he would have stayed. Y'all can't convince me that he would have allowed this woman to move into his home if he did not believe that was his child. I'm telling y'all, because the fact that he didn't marry her speaks volumes to how he perceives her. And once again, this seems like a good dude. This seems like a good dude who's responsible, who's dutiful, you know, who's conscientious, who tries to do the right thing, who tries to do it the right way, who tries to do it the way that he thinks will have the most optimal outcome for his son. And all she can think about is the fact that he went through her phone. And now she's trying to figure out how the DNA test told him that's not his son. Somebody take this bitch back to genetics, biology. Take her ass back. That's what they need to do. She need to go back and sit in a biology course and relearn a chapter on genetics.
That our son is not really my son, and that he has a different father. I sure have, because I thought he was my son. Because you've been lying to me this whole time.
And y'all hear, you been feeding him? You been clothing him? I have, because I thought he was my son. That's what I'm supposed to do for my son. Had I known that he wasn't my son, I would not have the same intrinsic motivation to do those things for this boy when he's another man's seed. No man does. That's the reason mammals in the animal kingdom commit infanticide. They have no evolutionary desire, no innate desire to provide for the next male seed, to help the next male seed have a genetic legacy of his own. Why would I want to contribute to my competition? My own sperm compete to get to the egg. My own sperm. Do you guys understand this? A man's own sperm are competing with one another to get to an egg. Why on earth would I want to help the next man impregnate you, produce a child, and have that child have a more successful lineage and legacy than my own? Why would I want to contribute to that genetic fitness, that child's success, that man's family success? Because that's essentially what you're doing when you take care of another man's seed. And as I said, this is why mammalian species in the animal kingdom, wild animals, this is why they will kill another male's offspring in order to mate with the female and start a lineage of their own. Hippos, zebras, lions, the great apes, they all do it. Even they know better. Even they don't want to take care of another man's seed. She's saying this as if, you know, well, he is your son because you've been doing all those things. No, ma'am, you're missing the point. I did those things because I presumed that the son was mine. I presumed that the child was mine. So that naturally made me want to do those things. But now that I know he's not, of course I developed a relationship with him, but I feel betrayed. I'm hurt. You lied to me. And sorry to say, the brutal reality is that same intrinsic desire to take care of this child is now null and void. Because he's not mine. Eradicated. Gone. Just like that.
What are you talking about? Does it matter?
It does matter. Are you crazy? What do you mean that absolutely matters? Like you don't see anything wrong with what you did? You don't see anything wrong with what you did? You've been lying to me. You've been sitting there lying to me for a.
And see what I say. This is how they act in order to virtue signal. In order to take the moral stand. They want to take the moral stance. Does it matter? You love him, don't you? You love him, don't you? You did all these things for him like he was yours, so what's the big deal? The big deal is you lied to me. That's the big deal. The big deal is you betrayed me. That's the big deal. The big deal is you used me to extract resources out of me to provide for a child that was not mine. That's the big deal. You used me to extract resources out of me to provide for a child that is not mine. You use my roof. You use my bathroom. You use my security. You use my home. You use my food. And this is another man's child. Where the fuck is his dad at? Where is his dad at? And why does his dad get to relieve himself of everything that I've been providing for this child? Because I'm telling y'all, the dad somewhere is one of the main shit dads. It's one of the main shit niggas. I'm telling y'all, that's what it is. And she knows that. She got pregnant by another man who she was more sexually receptive to, sexually excited by, and then used the man that she actually likes in terms of his ability to provide and who has resources at his disposal to take care of that man's baby. Women are slick. Women are slick. And he asked her, "You think I'm stupid or something?" Well, yeah, I mean, bro, 11 years is a long time not to catch on. 11 years is a long time not to see the signs. I don't know if you weren't paying attention. I don't know what type of veil was over your eyes, but 11 years is a long time for you to miss the signs that this boy ain't yours. You couldn't look at him and tell he don't look like you? Did y'all compare baby pictures? Did you compare your baby picture to his? 11 years is a long time. And assuming that he's been here since birth and the child is 11 years old, he about to hit puberty. So at some point, you should have realized that this child wasn't mine. It shouldn't have took 11 years. So I don't want to say you stupid, but I definitely want to say you was unattentive. I don't know. I don't know. It's questionable on that one. It's questionable. But nonetheless, I still feel bad for the dude. Because he shouldn't have even been with a woman like this to begin with. But as I said, probably once she got pregnant, and he knew she was pregnant, because I'm assuming if he believed that the child was his and she allowed him to think that, then she told him that the child was his and she carried that lie. She sat on that lie. Which, in essence, kept him around because he wanted to do the right thing. He wanted to be responsible, take care of his responsibilities, and provide for his child, even if he knew he didn't want to be with her, or if she wasn't a suitable long-term partner, and if they weren't getting married anytime soon, if at all.
Of course I love him, but I can't. But you guys can't stay. You can't stay here anymore.
Where we gonna go?
I don't know. It's not my problem.
It's
It's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. It's not my problem. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. I don't know. It's not my problem. I did my job. I did my job. I did my job as a dad.
See, I told y'all. See, the fact that he can put her out that quick, I'm trying to tell y'all, he was only there because he believed that that son was his. He tolerated this woman for 11 years. You can tell by the way she act. You can tell by the way she behaved. She is not somebody that's healthy, that you can have a healthy relationship with. The way she behaves, just from her talking, just from listening to their exchange, you could tell that the way she behaves is not conducive to a healthy relationship. So you know damn well that he was simply tolerating this woman and just simply trying to do the right thing. Now that motivation has been exterminated, he no longer has that desire. Now it's like, oh, you got to get out. You can't stay here. You can't stay here. You and old boy's son. Yeah, I care for him. Yeah, I love him. But you can't stay here because he was the only thing that was keeping you in here to begin with. He was the only thing that was keeping me from kicking you out to begin with. So now, since he's not my son, you got to get the fuck out. Bye-bye. That's, hey, he fed up. I'm telling y'all, that's what it is. That's what it is.
More about me going through your phone than you.
That's insane, man. That's really insane. And as I said, women do this. And if you allow women to get away with it, they will. Why? Because it benefits them. What woman doesn't want a man who's willing to take care of her child? Women are wired that way. They're the weaker sex. They're the more vulnerable sex, especially when they have offspring. Maternity leave. You know, the number one factor in putting people in poverty is having kids. So anything that a woman can do to mitigate the vulnerability that she experiences or the stress that she experiences when she has kids, she'll do it. And if that means lying to a man who's not the father of her child and convincing him that he is the father of her child, she'll do it. And she won't have any remorse, especially the more she rationalizes that he loves the child, he's treating the child like his, and tells herself that it doesn't matter because he's caring this much. Omitting that kind of information and then using it to your advantage is why female nature is so brutal. Because women think about themselves and their survival first and foremost. They think about themselves and their survival first and foremost. Humans do in general, but it's going to be intensified in women because women are the more vulnerable sex. So protection, and security and comfort has a higher level of value to women than it does to men. Feel bad for the guy. And he's not the only one. There's plenty of guys right now who are taking care of kids that have no idea that the child is not actually theirs. And the woman does not care, won't tell him, and will have no remorse if he finds out. She'll think that he's obligated to continue taking care of that child and she's entitled to it. That's the funny part. They think you're obligated to do it and that they're entitled to it. That's why they shame men who talk shit about single mothers, who say they won't play stepdad or they won't date single mothers. That's why they shame them. Virtue signaling. It's a moralistic stance. You're not a good guy if you're not willing to take care of another man's child. When in reality, she had the baby by a guy that she didn't think was a good guy. That's why he's not there. But she had the baby anyway. And now she's trying to make you pay for it. Literally. And if you marry a woman and this happens and the child is not yours, unfortunately, you still have to take care of the child. That's crazy as hell to me. That's insane to me. So even though this guy did it wrong, at least he didn't marry her and wasn't stuck paying child support and wouldn't have to pay child support for the rest of the duration of this dude's life. I don't know if they can actually make him pay child support if they aren't married, if he's been providing all along. She better go get that Section 8. I appreciate y'all tuning in. I'll catch y'all on the next dose of Q Pill. I'm Suave Q, aka the Q Pill. Over and out.